Are girls on Tinder constantly wasting your time? If so, this video is for you. What's up guys, it's Wingman Plus. Welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm gonna show you 4 signs that Tinder girls are wasting your time. Before the video starts, make sure you pound that like button, and if you're new to the channel, hit subscribe. So the first sign that your Tinder matches are wasting your time is if they have a low effort Tinder profile. A low effort Tinder profile can look like a lot of different things, but overall, here are some dead giveaways. If they have very few photos on their Tinder profile, it probably means they didn't put a ton of effort into their profile. Additionally, if you can't tell what they look like on that profile, it's a huge red flag. If they're serious about using Tinder and meeting people on Tinder, they'll let people know what they look like. Realistically, guys, would you want to meet up with someone from the internet without even knowing what they look like? Kinda sketchy. It could also mean they have no bio and just really low quality photos in general. But honestly guys, your intuition should be able to tell you if someone put a lot of effort into their profile or not. Now, I'm not saying all of your matches need to have try-hard profiles where every photo is a professional photo and they have the best bio ever. But if they only have 2 photos that are blurry and you can't even tell what they look like, odds are they're wasting your time. So here's a match I had on Tinder who had a very low effort profile. I even called her out about this in the chat. So I said, "Which one are you though?" None of her photos show her face directly except for the group photo that has like a bunch of girls in it. And she responds with, "Haha, the blonde one," which normally would be cool if all of her friends weren't blonde too. So I called her out again. I said, 2 side pics and then a group pic with multiple blondes. Am I being catfished? And she's like, "No, you're not being catfished. I just don't have any super recent photos because, you know, COVID." Honestly guys, with any situation in life, if you don't feel like doing something, just be like, "Oh, you know, COVID." It's pretty much the ultimate cop-out, guys, but it was also a dead giveaway that she wasn't putting any effort into her profile whatsoever. And honestly, if someone puts that little effort into their profile, they probably don't have any intention of meeting up with someone for a date. All right, guys, so this one kind of goes without saying, but the next way to tell if a Tinder girl is wasting your time is if they live really far away. Now, sometimes girls will download Tinder Passport and swipe in advance before they're moving to a new place or going on a vacation. But for the most part, if a girl has her radius set to like 1,000 kilometers and she matches with you, there's pretty much no intention of going out with you. Like realistically, would you drive 500 kilometers to go on a date? If you would, I pray for you. So if you are matching with girls super far away, I would just advise you, don't get super invested in long paragraph conversations because the odds are it's going absolutely nowhere and is a big waste of your time. Here's an example of a girl I matched with that was far away who wasted my time, but did it in a really sneaky way. When I matched with this girl, she was actually in my area. She was only like 20 kilometers away. So I sent this girl the pickup line, "Do I see a tattoo?" And she said, "Yeah, just the visible one." And I asked her, "You're telling me there's more to discover?" with the little eye emojis. And she said, "Absolutely. You look like you have quite a few yourself." I said, "I guess we both have our work cut out for us, don't we?" And she said, "Sounds pretty exciting." So at this point, the conversation's super playful. There's definitely a vibe. Things are going really well. So I asked, "You're cute. What are you looking for on here?" And she's like, "Oh, thanks. Honestly, just joined because of boredom. How about you?" Realistically, probably 80% of girls join Tinder because they're bored. So pretty average answer. So I called her out. "Isn't that why most people are on here? Boredom and attention?" She said, "Very true. To be honest, I'm not for random hookups, just here for the conversation." So right there, that's a red flag, guys. That's a big indicator that she's here to waste time and not really here to meet anyone. But for the purpose of the video, let's keep it going. So I was like, "You're not into random hookups. Does that mean you're more into intentional hookups?" And she said, "No. So if that's all you're looking for," and I just called her out. I was like, "No, but who's here just to talk?" Like, it is Tinder after all. We all know what Tinder's for. I also did this to kind of force her to ask me what I'm looking for, so she did. So I said, "Someone chill and fun who can vibe with me. Down to see where things go." Basically, it means I'm looking for something casual, kind of like a friends with benefits. She said, "I like and totally agree with that." So even though she kind of indicated that she's wasting my time earlier, she seems pretty interested and actually down to be like a friends with benefits. So that's pretty exciting. So I was like, glad we're on the same page. I know it's lockdown and everything is closed, but we should hang out soon if you're comfortable with it. Safety first, guys. So after all of that, she comes back and says, "I would definitely be down, but I'm moving back to Windsor tomorrow." The place she's moving to tomorrow is literally like 400 kilometers from where I live. I just called her up and said, "Wow, you bring this up now, eh?" Long story short, guys, she wasn't looking for a short-term fling the night before she moved back home, and that entire conversation was just a gigantic waste of time. Now, there were some indicators earlier on in the conversation that she was wasting my time, and maybe I should have listened to those a little bit stronger. Even though the vibe was there and there was definitely some chemistry with this girl, the fact that she was moving really far away is a dead indicator that she has no intention of ever going out with me. And for that reason, I'm out. Another way to tell if a girl's wasting your time on Tinder is if they're joking around 100% of the time. This should go without saying, but if a girl's not taking the conversation seriously at all, she's probably just on Tinder to mess around, have funny conversations, and cure some boredom. But with that said, I want to show you an example of what this looks like, mostly because the conversation's really hilarious. So if anything, enjoy. So this girl actually messaged me first and she said, "Oh, hey you. Hey you doesn't give me a lot to work with, but I noticed on her profile she's eating a steak. So I said, your first pic has me craving the keg." She comes back with, "Whoops, Tinder said my message was too inappropriate. Monkey face." So I was like, now you have to send it. I was dying to know what this message was. So she's like, "I said, your first pic has me craving your eggplant." Okay, so this is going super well, boys. So I was like, I mean, perhaps we can work something out. The next line she comes back with, I literally don't think I can say on YouTube, but she said, "Have you ever used your own as lube for round 2? Who hurt you? That's probably the most savage thing anyone's ever said to me on a dating app. At this point, I didn't think she was that serious. She's clearly messing around. So I was like, oh, like steak for eggplant? And she's like, "You're gonna buy me steak too? Maybe I'll be the one on one knee." In hindsight, I probably should have said she'd look better on both, but I said, "You wish, eh? I'm looking for a sugar mama." She's like, "You're in the wrong department. A girl needs a big man to show her who's boss." I'm either talking to an absolute baddie or being catfished right now. This kind of sounds like a dude trolling on a girl's account, to be honest. And she said, "I'm actually a 65-year-old man." And I was like, why do I get the impression you're really a 300-pound dude? She said, "Fuck, I've been caught. Oh my God, you wouldn't want to fuck me if I was a 300-pound man? How rude. How about you snap me and see all 300 pounds of me? How does that sound?" So she called me out on the catfish line. It sounds like she's down to snap, and Snapchat secured. Now guys, this whole conversation was pretty much satirical. Like, she wasn't taking it seriously at all. When I added her on Snapchat, guys, she instantly sent me nudes, and before I could even respond, unfriended me from Snapchat. So super weird experience. Clearly she wasn't down to chill. I don't really know what her intentions were, but in the end, she was wasting my time. All right, so the next way to tell if a Tinder girl is wasting your time is if she treats Tinder conversations like they're a job interview. What I mean by this, guys, is Tinder's a playful place. It's a place for flirting and getting to know someone playfully. But if you find when you're messaging your matches and they're very transactional, saying things like, "Hi, how are you? How was your day? What do you do for work?" Things like that are such job interview type questions. Like, they're so dry, they don't really give you a lot to work with, and it doesn't initiate a playful conversation. And if your matches aren't initiating or engaging in playful conversations with you, it's a very clear indicator that they're wasting your time. To give you a really specific example of what this looks like, let's pull up these screenshots. So this girl had a pretty scandalous profile. So I said, "Tell me you have daddy issues without telling me you have daddy issues." And she said, "I'll cry if you don't hold my hand." So I was like, "Get the Kleenex ready, baby." And she said, "How rude." So she's obviously playing along. It's a flirty conversation. I said, "It's Tinder. Did you really come here for nice guys?" And she said, "Good point." So she's kind of being a little bit short now. Not the greatest sign as far as interest goes, but let's continue. So I got a little bit of small talk out of the way. She was getting short. So I checked her intentions and said, "What are you looking for on here?" And she's like, "Just seeing where things go. Not exactly looking for anything serious. What about you?" I was like, "Yeah, not really into one night stands, but something more fun and casual, going with the flow as well." She's like, "Yeah, I don't really like them either. So what have you been doing during this shitty time?" So she is trying to initiate a conversation with me. Like, she's not just saying, "Yeah, I don't like them either," and then ending it there. So she is showing a bit of interest, but the conversation's not really playful. It's like, "Hey, what do you do for fun?" So I tried to keep the momentum of the conversation playful. I answered her question, but also used the inertia of the small talk, checking your intentions to move to the next step. So I said, "I'm working hard, but in my downtime, I like watching hockey and Netflix. You should join sometime." So right there, I kind of answered her question, but I escalated the conversation by essentially asking her out. Now, mind you, it was a Netflix and chill date, but it's a date nonetheless. And here's where it got worse. So she completely dodged the Netflix and chill invite and just kept the conversation with, "Nice, what do you do for work?" At this point, guys, I didn't even respond. This conversation seemed so much like a job interview. And yeah, I could tell this girl my whole life story in paragraphs on Tinder. But if we did actually ever end up hanging out, she would already know everything about me. Why would she have any interest in meeting me for a date when she's heard my whole life story on Tinder? So when girls are doing this thing where they want to know every detail about you on Tinder, it's usually an indicator that they're not on Tinder to go on dates. Maybe they're just not ready. Maybe they just got out of a relationship and they're not actually ready to meet someone. And that's okay, but it's not for me. In my opinion, guys, Tinder is a numbers game. Because there's so many people on Tinder, but so few of them are taking it seriously, you want to make sure you're able to engage conversations that are playful, you're able to check their intentions, and really find out which matches on Tinder are actually down to meet up with you for a date. Hopefully the tips in this video helped you do just that and figure out when your matches on Tinder are just wasting your time and when you should probably call it quits on keeping the conversation going. But if you do need more help with your Tinder game, that's a-okay. I get a lot of DMs from you guys on Instagram asking me about dating advice and Tinder advice, and to better manage all of these questions, guys, I started a website. I'm really excited about it. Head on over to wingmanplus.com today. Look guys, Tinder isn't broken, you're just using it wrong. If you're looking for one-on-one coaching tailored to your exact needs and the problems you're facing on dating apps, wingmanplus.com is for you. Anyway guys, with that said, thank you so much for watching the video. If you haven't yet, pound that like button and hit subscribe. Until next time, peace.